Did you know 20 million Americans, just Americans alone, in the second half of 2021 quit their jobs? There is a huge movement going on. What's going on? People are moving toward happiness. We are going to the tipping point. It's already happening. It's accelerating. And we had, if you saw my last video, a portal open. What does that mean? A big energy shift. That's all it really means. A portal for me is an opportunity, an opening, and we're in it. I'm going to talk to you about it, what's happening and how we're shifting, because I'm on YouTube. I'm an influencer. I get to hear things all over the world from you guys, and I hear great things happening. It is amazing. There's nothing wrong with the world. We're shifting out of what didn't work. You ready? Come on over. We're going to talk about this. This is cool stuff. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. The huge shift is going on, the great awakening, the golden era. Well, the golden era, we're going into it. We're at the start of it. We're creating it. Congratulations. And I hear you all shifting. And now I still hear a few people still hanging on to the conspiracy theories and what's going on with them. And who cares? Shut your pie hole. We're creating. Why did 20 million Americans? That's just the second half. That's just the start. We can't even employ people here. We're getting bonuses and all this money being offered, and people say, no, we want happiness. What is happiness? We used to seek success. What was success? I was successful, relatively speaking, in the world of finance, right? I was an investment banker. What's success? It didn't equate to happiness. I was getting freaking heart palpitations. Yeah, so you know what the ending to that was? After my whole family died, including my pets, I said, I'm the next one going to be pushing up daisies. Do I want to go out successful? And everybody's, why would you quit that job? But you know, when I quit my job 7 years ago, my career, I actually owned the company. No one said, oh gosh, what are you doing? Have you lost your mind? You know what they said? Woo! What are you doing? Tell me, because I want to get out. And that's what's going on. Now this pandemic, you can say what you want about it. It has been our tipping point. It has pushed us to realize we didn't love those jobs anyways. And now we're trying to be controlled. That got overruled in our Supreme Court. We're going to be controlled by other people going to tell us that we don't have choice anymore. We're saying no, but we're not doing it in a violent, the old-fashioned way where we're just, turning cars upside down and looting and pillaging. No, we're saying, you know what? We don't have to do that. We wield power as a community by making higher choices. So instead of quantum field, instead of focusing on that, which has not worked, stay in your job until you retire, even if you hate it. And then what, you're like 70-year-old trying to get into a bikini? Who wants that? I don't want to see that. I do see that sometimes here in Florida. But that's beside the point. That's not the world we loved. And so we tell our kids, you can't be a cowboy or an artist or a musician or a writer. I have a television movie. Why? Because you can't make money doing that. That's not a living. That's happiness. You have to be responsible. That world is gone. We know responsible and happiness have nothing to do with each other. You can be happy and responsible. People are giving up their homes. They're getting in RVs, going across the country. My friend who left a comment said, yeah, we're not taking the bus anymore. What does that mean? Back in the civil rights movement, when blacks were told that they had to sit in the back of the bus, yeah, not good, right? What kind of world was that? We've come so far from there. We got a long way to go. But what did they do? They said, well, who's riding the bus? It was mostly the African American community. Guess what happens when they stop riding the bus? Oops. The bus lines were like out of business, and they were like, okay, we'll change our rules. Because money meant more to them, right, than their stupid, whatever, separation in that. And so we're saying, you know what? We are one. We are diverse. We can have different opinions, and we don't have to argue about it anymore. It's okay if you like David Icke and you want to watch him, and somebody else says, I don't want to. You don't have to defend it or make sure everybody watches him. I don't even know what he talks about, by the way. But some people made comments, should I watch it? I said, is it negative? Do you feel good when you do it? Because your happiness is number one. And now we're listening to that frequency. That doesn't feel good. Okay, so I'm going to go over here. Oh, this feels good. What is that? You are now tapping into your own energy fields, and we're in a tipping point. We're really paying attention to what we are. And it's not these bodies. It's the energy field that affects absolutely everything that is connected to everything. Everything that's out there that's negative gets people to argue with one another, and it causes separation. That is the density that is trying to battle to keep us away, losing our jobs because of an illness instead of working together to make that safe. Got overruled by the Supreme Court. And I told you, whether you like Starbucks or not, they are one of the first companies that said, we're sticking to that freedom and that choice, taking the precautions, just like we should, working as a community to say, you know what, you're not going to lose your job because nobody can tell you what to do with your body. And so we are going into an era right now, this new opening, this huge gateway, is respecting one another's diversity, opinions, differences, without getting into separation and conflict. We're now saying it's okay if we don't agree. We don't even have to talk about it. Now, if our disagreements mean that, our lifestyles infringe on one another, then we have to come together and say, how do we resolve this? How do we make it so that everybody's comfortable? And that's where smaller communities are coming in, and we are now breaking into those. Do you see what's happening? Instead of working for big corporations and if you don't do this, you get fired, and what are we doing? 20 million people quit. Because I'm creating my business that feels right and good, that improves the planet. And then we'll bring groups together who have the same goals. And so maybe we work on cleaning the oceans, and somebody else is helping the homeless, and somebody else is creating amazing new healthy products and services for people, or medicines that are more holistic. And so we're going into these areas, and we're pulling communities together, creating. This is the new Earth. It's happening, and you're watching. And if you think some spacecraft's going to come down and pick us up, you've got to rethink of what the new Earth is, because we're in charge of it. Nobody's going to save us from ourselves. We're already powerful enough to do that. So what's happening is, because of technology, we are now global. No one can stop. They can try. They can try to stop us from talking to each other. That's going to be tough. And so you saw a lot of different things going on online to try and control that. But the thing is, if you go in with peace, you don't have to worry about that. Go in with peace and know that you have no reason to oppose anything, because that's still separation too. And so saying, I accept that this is a choice that somebody else made, but I don't have to participate in that. And that's the opening and the new Earth that is launched. It's been happening. When's the tipping point? And I said, if you're sitting there waiting for it to happen, you're not participating in that frequency. It's an individual choice. If you participate in it, you're the creator of the new Earth. So you're on the elevator in the mansion, powering up to the top floor of the penthouse, and you're like, wow, there's an amazing view up here. They serve champagne, and there's beautiful, wonderful people. They're applauding me and saying, what can we do? What can we create? Who can we inspire? How can we motivate? And what would you like to do? How can I help you? And let's give, because if everybody's giving, there's no lack. There's no lack exists on this planet except for that which we create. There's plenty of food. And there's space for everyone. And when we make higher choices, then the things that destroy our planet and our bodies will dissolve, because nobody's going to use it. You have to start making those decisions and cleaning up your own environment. We were talking about chemtrails and contrails. I said, forget that. That's first of all, that's been so distorted. It's stupid. But let me just say something about that. Everything is poisoning us. Look in your house. Look under your sink. Look at what you're using, bleach that goes in our water system. I want you to start thinking about this, because the more we are aware of cleaning up what we've been told is normal to use, the more we become creators. You could be a millionaire. You could be a millionaire if you came up with some healthy ideas for the planet, and you could change the planet. People will love you, and I'm going to be paying. Eventually that's going to go away too. We won't even have a monetary system, but right now we do. So you, as a millionaire who care about other people, you're not going to be like, buying gold faucets. You're going to be saying, hey, listen, now I have enough money that I can do some things that I wanted to do that could change the planet. Maybe I, put something together to educate other people on, how to create their own, businesses, so they're not on the street. Or we help them fish. You teach a man to fish or a woman to fish. You don't give them the fish. And that's the world we're going into. It's year of action. I told you, year of action. My life has changed so drastically because I stepped out of what I was told was successful. And I went through that gateway. When it wasn't popular, you didn't tell people 7 years ago that you had an online business. This is the gateway to the new earth. It is open, wide open, and we now know that we don't want to or have to think limitations anymore. All things are possible. Yes, you could walk on water. We know somebody who did that. And maybe we're not at that level yet, but we know it's possible. And that's all you have to know. It's possible, because I'm not this body. And the more I go out into that quantum field where the possibilities, the probabilities all exist, the more I shift into it. Because the more you think you can't, you create that limitation. And the universe always says yes. Yes. Okay, you have a limitation. You don't have to anymore. All things are possible. All bets are off, my friend. We're going, and if you're not going there right now, if you don't feel it, you're not being left behind. No one gets left behind. It's a choice. If you shift into it, you will experience what I'm talking about. So are you ready to step into that gateway? Go into it. That world that exists. It's always existed. We're just recognizing that it's there. It always has been. You've always been awakened. Why do you feel you're not awakened? Because you have to peel back the layers of the illusion that tell you something different. You're always there. And you always will be there. Everything else is the illusion. Free stuff in the description. My training's all going to change. Come over now, because all the pricing, everything's going to change, because I'm taking it up on the next level, adding coaches. Please subscribe, share these, step through the portal, step into the gateway of the new earth, the tipping point. Go, yay, be community, in peace, in love, and respect for one another. Place the other first, because that is you, and you will receive abundance like you never dreamed of. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.